From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on Lalate.
It's a big midday here on Lalate with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal, signed, sealed. We'll go over the incredible recon checks that are application-based and set for you. $3.5 trillion for you across the board. Then we'll be going to the big money of the MSC, multiple stimulus checks, and what the Democrats are preparing this week. We'll be hearing from one of the number one Democrats in the land and what he proposes for those MSCs. As we go into a big noontime, it's starting right here, this very moment, live from Santa Monica on this Labor Day weekend of noontime, LA Light. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day across the board. And thank you for joining me on this beautiful day, direct from Santa Monica, live on air. The weather is gorgeous here. Hope the weather is good where you are. In this fourth stimulus check update 2021, we'll go over those monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal, signed, sealed. We'll go over the incredible $3.5 trillion of checks that are coming to you and the American people in the fourth stimulus recon. This is the deliciousness you've been waiting for, and Purple Hawks, you're going to kill it in this fourth stimulus recon. Then we go back to Capitol Hill as the Democrats are now preparing for those MSCs, and you're going to hear from the number one guy that wants to give it to you. He's flexing his muscles and coming into the game to give you an MSC, but he needs you to watch his back. And we're watching his back as we go into this big recording starting at noontime, live from Santa Monica. And this, of course, is Allied. Thank you for joining me across the board. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. The fastest growing channel of its kind. Next up, 1 million. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. This is Allied, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Meantime, if you've not signed up for those LA alerts, you need to do so. Totally free. It's at news.la.com. Hit that alert button, put that email address in there, and you're ready to rock and roll. 1,000 of you are still pending in the confirmation email box, so make sure you confirm and watch for that confirmation email, and you're ready to rock and roll. Let's go on those monthly stimulus checks, House versus Senate, Senate versus House, starting right now. Different proposals, different amounts, and let's look at the details. AOC and Omar, $2,000 a month, but not saying the number of months. House Ways and Means, monthly, but not saying the number of months nor the amount. We have Warren, Sanders, and Wyden calling for monthly, but not giving the amount nor the number of months. And then we have the House bill, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, pandemic plus 1 year. That's the one that's captivating a country and captivating a nation. Vote House or Senate, House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from right now and how the weather is where you are at noontime. Who gets us for a stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that if you're a single individual, $75,000 or less, they want you to have a forced stimulus check. Marry a couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats represent you get one as well. Double it. Family of 4, Democrats represent you get a forced stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, you're going to get a forced stimulus check as well. The forced stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. And the forced stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you're at the beach this weekend and the check runs up to you waving, and you say, oh, the check's waving at me? It's the French check. Just a little bit more friendly than the U.S. check. And then another check walks up to you and kisses you on 2 cheeks. It's the Italian check. Don't take offense to it. There we go. In the second half of this video, we cut to the incredible details of that fourth stimulus recon and why it's going to give you a fortune, $3.5 trillion of checks. And then in the third part of this video, we go over the MSC and the number one guy in the land, what he wants to do with those MSCs. But first, let me introduce you to a new cast member that made her debut earlier today. You recognize her by what's in her hand. hands. You may have seen her at the supermarket. She walks around with hods and hordes of money in her hand. Her name is Freedom Frida. There she is. Watch that eyebrow. That strange eyebrow comes up any moment, anytime you're looking, and there it is, Freedom Frida. So what is Freedom Frida about? Freedom Frida is about freedom of speech for fake facts. She just says there's freedom of speech to say fake facts. And I saw her already in the comments on Mornings LA. She's just around all the time. She said in her fake facts this morning that they never passed the recon procedural last week because no one was in town. Yeah, your facts are out of town. And then there was another Freedom Frida. She said on one of the comments to Mornings LA just minutes ago that Joe Biden was on the news talking about jobs, so he's not giving you money. Yeah, this is right. Yeah, you hear one thing and you just sort of jump to the conclusion of another one. There you go. Thank you, Freedom Frida. We'll visit more back in with her on her fake facts later this video. But if you haven't count her in because she's coming up later in this video. Because guess what? It's September. Let's cut to the incredible big money that's available for you right now. There is Calendar Colleen. Thank you, Calendar Colleen. Let's get a pen and paper ready because there's money available for you right now. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. It's a third stimulus. And congratulations, incredible viewers that continue to get those sums of money. Send me a private message on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and I'll feature you live on air. I'll be with you all weekend long, full slate of programming, all Labor Day weekend. And guess what? Your legislators are working as well. So I have a lot of breaking news about them as well. Here is Kyra. Thank you, Lalate. I got $17,000. Congratulations. Valerie getting $9,000. And then Dawn saying she got electric, water, and gas. Rent, electric, and gas. And she says, thank you, LA. Heart, smile, heart, smile, heart, smile, smile. Kitty. Yeah, the kitty appreciates you getting the rent as well. You don't want the kitty on the street. I don't know what the kitty's for, but thank you for the kitty cat. I really appreciate that. But the big inspiration came from Johnny, and Johnny came in a week ago today because guess what? Viewers are getting average of $40,000 a day from this channel. They're getting massive sums of money, or $40,000 a week. We had 3 viewers last week who started the week at 0, ended the week at over $40,000. One of them was Johnny, and he got $80,000, and you can do the same thing. Now, you're going to listen to what happens with Johnny. He got 7 items. He didn't get 1 item. He got 7 items. Because guess what? If you think about what you have at home, you have water, you have gas, you have heating oil, you have rent. You have more than 1 item. You have a lot of items. Johnny got 7. He got $12,000 of SNAP, $10,000 EIDL, $2,000 taxes, $21,000 housing in one place, and then $25,000 for housing in another place. Then he got internet and phone at $50 a month, $80,000. So let's get a pen and paper ready right now because this is your money available for you right now. You can get this money. You can do it. And viewers are getting, on average, far in excess of $20,000 a day for rent from this channel. Let's look at all the incredible success stories of this money for rent. Wow, look at that number. Look at that graphic. Everyone is over 20,000. Nisi's at 20,000 and goes all the way up to Elizabeth at 27,000. Then utilities, it's not a few $100s. Johnny got $9,000, so he's at the high end. There's Nancy at 7,000 and more. And then we have SNAP. SNAP is money for food. And boy, there's Louie at $18,000 annualized. John, $10,000 to $12,000. You're going to meet someone a second who got even more. Johnny got $16,000 for this. And then we have the Triple Crown. People who got 3 items. Nisi had 3 items at $32,000. And Nisi at $23,000 for 3 items. And Nancy at $32,000 for 3 items as well. Nancy and Nisi, that's a tongue twister. But there was Mark at 2 items at $32,000. Now, Mark gives us 4 wonderful stories that are inspirations for us all. Number 1, Mark got 2 items, and for 5 days on camera, I said to Mark, go get SNAP. He got SNAP within 5 days. No excuse, you can do the same thing. He got SNAP within 5 days. Number 2, he told his friend about this channel. If you have a friend, tell your friend about this channel. And if you're the friend that's watching this channel, welcome. That friend was Chenan as well last weekend. She told her friend about LA. She said, I told my friend about you, LA. She went out, and now she's addicted to your channel. She got $21,000, $9,000 for rent, $5,000 for utilities, and $6,000 for SNAP. You rock, LA. Well, thank you. Now, Mark told his friend about this channel, and that friend went from 0 to $20,000 of rent in less than 5 days. Yes. Finally, Mark heard Johnny, and other people heard each other, and now realized, wait a second, I'm not stopping at 2 items. I'm getting 7 items. I'm getting as many as you can. And John and Mark went back and got more items. Finally, Mark got that snap. I'll go over Mark's other items later this weekend, but Mark got $19,000. So snap, bringing his grand total to $50,500 because this is what we do. And then let's meet Lorraine at $105,000. This is what this channel does. And this is what I've been doing since day one. We're here to cash big sums of money. And in April of last year, people had applied for that EID loan, and granted, they were not approved. So that they were stuck in what I called the 330, the 331, and the 484 text. For weeks on end, no one was helping getting their applications approved till I came along. And one after another, I got their applications approved. $25 million of EID loans approved. 3 days later, there was a new program going live April 28th in some states, but states like Florida and Texas were delayed. The program, PUA, very confusing application. I did hundreds and hundreds of videos, answering people's questions on air, showing them how to do this very complicated application and get them approved. And I got them approved. $15,000 like Eileen Bellenkamp out of Florida. But then fall 2020, second stimulus was not coming. You need money. And it was the holidays. And it was December. I stepped forward and I got viewers $250,000 of rent, like Tyrone pay all his rent from December to the spring. Every video, no matter what I say, no matter what flags I wave, there's always going to be someone who jumps in the video and says, when? When is the 4th stimulus direct depositing into my bank account? Answer is not today and not this week. So go get 3rd stimulus, which is available today. The great news is that when 3rd stimulus was passed in January, we didn't know if it would run out. Any quick sort of time, it has not run out. So this money, $20, $30, $40, $50, $80, $100,000 is available for you now. So go get it. Get that pen and paper ready because I'm going to show you how to get it right now. It is money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. And we're going to go over all the incredible details starting right now with some introductory remarks. Number 1, I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. So reach out to all 6. The one that first says no, reach out to the remainder. Number 2, each place has their own pot of money, so who worries if the first one says no? Number 3, every state has this money. And number 4, keep on pushing. Listen to the keywords I say in this video. Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority. That's 2. Your county hall, your county housing authority. That's 4. And your state hall and your state housing authority. That's 6. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know. Like, whatever happened to July? No, that's Countercon. That's what he says. You don't say those words. And there you go. Congratulations to everyone who got this big money for rent and utilities. If you did as well, post to the live chat right now. We now turn to SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. It pays a lot. A family of 4 gets a lot. Everyone gets a lot. And guess what? Mark was at $19,000, but now he's going to $25,000. Why? Because the announcement last week featured live on this air was that everyone's benefits for SNAP are going up an average of 25% a lifetime automatically in October nationwide. Yes. If you got SNAP as well, post your success story in the live chat right now, like Lynn, Glenn, and Gail. The next part of the money is a refund check coming back from your state due to overpayment of computer error of unemployment benefits. One viewer got $3,000, another viewer got $5,000. It's coming by direct deposit. And the great news is that the federal government has ordered the states to upgrade the computer systems. They're running Windows 10. And Microsoft actually this week announced they're launching Windows 11 in October. So those states running Windows 10 will now be able to upgrade from Windows 1910. The version where you'll rub 2 sticks together to start fire and turn on the computer. There you go. Can we top that? Yes, as the final refund check is the one coming back from IRS for that 2020 tax that you paid unemployment benefits on. Congratulations is landing. Average payout is anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 for one viewer over the weekend. Landing by direct deposit. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. But first, here's a personal message from me to you. This channel is all about people helping people. And I love your comments. I see the people in the live chat. People are saying, can I help you with this? Can I help you with this? Where are you located? Let me explain this for you. That's the spirit of this channel. If you are in the live chat, post your success stories for rent, utilities, food, or internet. I launched this channel to help get people money. And you do that as well when you post a success story in the live chat. Viewers see those numbers and then realize, I need to pick up the phone. I need to pick up the phone. It's only a phone call away, this money. Pick up the phone and get all these items, not one, but 7 items, as many as you can get. Utilities is not a few $100s anymore. It's thousands of dollars. Snap is not a few $100s. And then we had Nisi and Art Sullivan, who got multiple items, inspired countless viewers to get 3. Now we have people getting more than 3 items, getting 7 items. Pick up that phone and do it right now. That's the spirit of this channel. Where's that direct deposit landing? It's landing by, where is that unemployment benefits landing? Direct deposit, that refund check by direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And 70% of the time you can track it at irs.gov. Do a transcript search and it'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid and the refund check you're getting. And then it'll reveal when Calendar Colleen buys a new calendar, does she mark the calendar to make sure she buys the calendar? Does she calendar in when she has to buy a calendar? Or is that sort of calendared already? Because she's Calendar Colleen. Can we top that? Yes, as we go into the second half of this video, starting right now. Deal done, signed, sealed. A $3.5 trillion recon passed last week, the recon procedural. It's incredible, great news. With a recon now, done deal, $3.5 trillion of checks for the American people. Now, as I told you earlier in this video, I told you on Mornings Lalate, fake narrative or Freedom Frida was in the chat and saying stuff like, there was no vote last week. How could they vote? They're out of town. No, your brain cells were out of town. They were in town last week and they voted last week. I don't think Tucker Carlson or Glenn Beck covered that for you. Yeah, I don't think they did. But yeah, they were in town last week and they voted. So yeah, that's why you're watching here. So the $3.5 trillion was agreed upon. Done and deal, signed and sealed. What does this mean? That there will be a recon. It will be $3.5 trillion and it'll all be checks from the American people. In fact, Bernie Sanders spoke about it in the last 24 hours, saying basically what I say on this channel is that the previous stimulus package is all for corporations. This one is all for the American people. Incredible, great news. Let's go into the details about what this recon means for you and how it works. But stay to the final 15 minutes of this video because I'm going to go over the application-based checks, and we're also going to go over the stimulus checks as well. So how do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by taking roads and bridges out of the recon and putting it somewhere else. The higher the price tag was in the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, roads and bridges put in the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. There you go. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. And there's 2 types of reporting to look at. If you're looking at reporting across the landscape of journalism, there's reporting where you see someone covering something after it happened or something before it happens. I cover news before it happens. And so in the month of June and July, I told you that a recon was going to pass because the Democratic caucus had already bridged the subject matter. In the month of June and July, the Democratic caucus, Senate, House, and President had met to agree to do a recon, number 1, and agree to do the price tag. Number 2, they agreed that it would be $3.5 trillion, and that was a done deal. That caused Freedom Frida to, of course, say recon is never going to happen. Never going to happen. They don't have the votes. Mitch doesn't like it. Guess what, Freedom Frida? The Republicans have nothing to do with the recon. And they already had agreed they were doing the recon, and that's why it passed last week. You didn't see that on the news, did you? Yeah. Put down the dollar bills and just sort of, they may be blocking the vision. So how do they get to this wonderful spot? By calling for a very big, large recon. That's what Democrats like Ilhan Omar, Democrat out of Minnesota, and Democrat Richie Torres out of New York had said, we need a bigger recon, a recon as big as bold as we need it. And they got it. And then once they agreed upon the price tag, the next step was to basically protect everything that's in the recon. The president told the Democrats, and especially the progressives, protect the recon because everything in there is progressive priorities, the White House's priorities. That's what Brian Schatz and Jalopal was told by the president. So let's go over what a recon is, what a bipartisan is, starting right now. Now, Freedom Frida would love to tell you that the infrastructure has no stimulus checks in there. Sorry, Freedom, you're in the wrong bill. Let's look at the right bill, which is the recon. The recon is your money. Bipartisan is not your money. We have 2 different paths to do, and the first one is recon, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill. Price tag $3.5 trillion, also called the Democratic spending plan or the progressive social reform plan. Bipartisan, not your money, also called infrastructure or roads and bridges. Well, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Done deal, signed and sealed. That tow truck is the recon procedural. It passed over the finish line, and now it's time to pick up the tow hitch. It's the recon substantive. The recon substantive is what they're working on right now. I'll have details about that for you in a second. But boy, this is very exciting. What's the difference between the two? Larry Pringle on this show, Noontime, 2 days ago, was so brilliant and explained it to other viewers in the live chat. Recon procedural is the price tag, $3.5 trillion, done deal, signed, sealed. And that committees are given certain amounts of money, $10 for this, $10, $20 for that. Recon substantive, however, goes over the issue of how to spend the money. And that is why we brought back Seats for Stimulus, because Seats for Stimulus says spend the money the right way. Recon substantive is going over the terms and conditions of how to spend the money. And guess what? Ron Wyden, Democrat, one of the senators who wants to give you a stimulus check, said yesterday that they're working all weekend long and all week long on this recon substantive because the month of September is very busy. So they're doing the language right now. Chuck Schumer as well said that he's talking to Bernie 4 to 5 times a day on modifying the language of the recon because they got to do it. Because guess what? It's September. What are they doing in September? They know it's September, calendar calling. And how do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by Jalopal, calling Schumer a letter, writing Schumer a letter saying, chuck all the vote on the recon. And he did. And that letter was signed by seven House Democrats, part of 100+ House Democrats, who recently wrote the president a letter saying, you got to put monthly stimulus checks before stimulus recon. Wow. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're putting monthly forced stimulus checks on the forced stimulus recon. OMG. Now you got to push Purple Power because that is one of several groups that wants to give you monthly stimulus checks. Let's look at them again. We have Warren, Wyden, and Sanders monthly, but they don't say the number of months or the amount. We have AOC Omar, $2,000 monthly, but they don't say the number of months. We have House Ways and Means that says monthly, but doesn't say the amount nor number of months. And then we have this one, which is Captivated Country. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus check. So push Purple Power, because guess what? It's whatever happened to July. Sorry to counter card. It's all about whatever happened to July. Well, we're in September. Whatever happened to July. He's focused on February 14th. Yeah, Valentine's Day is just a blink of an eye away. Calendar card. And there you go. Can we top that? Yes. As Biden took the global minimum corporate tax rate out of the forced stimulus recon, making the forced stimulus recon easier to vote on, easier to write, easier to pass because it's not in there. And in the final 15 minutes of this video, coming up after the commercial break, we'll go over the world exclusive you're only going to hear on this channel about this MSC, what you need to do about this MSC, what some people are getting confused about on the MSC. We'll go over calculations of this MSC, and we're going to go over what application-based stimulus is across the board, and also fifth stimulus. But first, it's important you get one item under third stimulus, or at least one item from this channel over the last year. If you picked up the phone and called and say, I want this money, you got it, you're going to kill it under fourth stimulus. But don't just rely upon the volunteers, say, do all the work for me. Because when fourth stimulus happens, you're going to be able to pounce and get these items if you've gotten one already yourself. And with that, here's a little bit about the volunteers. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Noontime heats up. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA Live Daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now at noontime, live from Santa Monica, California, as Labor Day kicks off. And guess what? I'll be with you all weekend long. So we're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of breaking news. And a familiar face may be back. I wonder who it may be. But first, let's go over those 4 stimulus checks, monthly stimulus checks, and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. But we're going to go over what application-based stimulus means. You've done this before, and you're going to pounce as a Purple Hawk. Then we go over the incredible breaking news about the man who wants to flex his muscles and give you that MSC. We'll go over why he's so important in the equation, and we'll do some of the calculations on that MSC as well. And with that, make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The link is under the video and more. Meantime, if you are not getting the alerts yet from the LA alert system, you need to sign up. And if you haven't gotten, and if you signed up and haven't got to them, the confirmation email may be in the spam folder. So make sure you look for it. You can always start all over again and try it again. It looks like this. Hit the blue button and away you go. You can get those alerts on the run and with your shirt on or your shirt off. Let's go into the incredible great news about this stimulus, which is a few days away from starting. This stimulus raises your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. They're hoping to get this done by November and start drafting in September. Step 1, raise your benefits up a lifetime, then remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, then remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. How does this work? Well, first they're going to raise your benefits up. Who's you? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, or SSA. Step 1 is they're going to raise your benefits up. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. That inflation rate will be transitory, maybe as high as 5%. Let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. If it's 5%, your benefits will go up another 5%. Not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. They're going to remove the asset cap, being back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and do a pair and dance and no longer fear a loss of benefits. Finally, will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will be next year. And lastly, how about those Purple Hawks? If you're in a live chat and you've not become a Purple Hawk, notice why there's emojis next to people's names. You need to do so. Become a Purple Hawk today. The link is under the video. Join today. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. When you become a member, daily I deliver from me to you a breakdown of all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. Purple Hawks never say, when is fourth stimulus land in my bank account? Because they're pouncing getting the big sums of money available under third stimulus right now. In fact, they've been preparing for this since January when I launched Purple Hawks. When I launched Purple Hawks in January this year, I said, you know what? $1,400 stimulus check, okay. It's going to eventually land, but I can get you $14,000 under this third stimulus package. There's a lot of money in there. Well, viewers are getting a lot more than $14,000 now. They're getting $40,000, 3 viewers last week, and one of them $80,000. The week before that, 3 viewers at $32,000. Daily, people are having success stories. If you have a success story, send it to me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, private message. I'll feature it tonight on Evenings at Lalate or tomorrow morning, early mornings at Lalate as well. Consider becoming a member so you get these big sums of money, because this is money available right now. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. Deal done, signed, sealed. A $3.5 trillion recon is a done deal. It was passed last week, which means that there's a recon, means it's $3.5 trillion, and it means it's all checks for the American people and Zippo for corporations. That's what Bernie Sanders said in less than 24 hours ago. This is huge, because imagine if you got anything from third stimulus, which was this small and almost all for corporations. Imagine how much money you could get from fourth stimulus that's this big, that's all for you. And if you're someone like Johnny who picked up the phone and got 7 items, imagine how well you're going to do on a fourth stimulus, where there's lots of different items for you to get. Now, let's go over the 2 parts of what you need to understand in this analysis. Number 1, There is application-based stimulus in the recon, and then that's confirmed, and there's a push to put stimulus checks in there as well. I'm getting to that in 1 second. But so far, what is confirmed is $3.5 trillion of checks to the American people. You need to push Purple Power because the terms and conditions of that recon substantive is what they're writing now. This week, Bernie Sanders having meetings with Chuck Schumer, at least by phone, 5 times a day. Ron Wyden saying they're writing the legislation or negotiating the terms and conditions right now. So you need to push because the terms and conditions could impact how the money is spent. We're all getting the money, but how the money is spent is a big issue. So push Purple Power seats for stimulus. Now, what does application-based mean? It means you pick up the phone and ask for the money because they don't know you need the money unless you tell them. No one knows you need money for rent, utilities, or food, or internet, or telephone, or dental, or vision, or any of those things unless you tell them. They don't inherently know you need the money. And it doesn't mean you're filling out a 50-page application. It means you're simply, in some cases, just picking up the phone. Now, here's some of the proposed items. I go over the proposed items to show you an example, not to show you that these are the actual items. Because there's always someone that says, I'm really excited about the item. Then someone says, I'm really not excited about the item. These are just some of the proposed items. But I'm showing them to you so you understand that IRS, Department of Treasury, would never know anything about you and these items. Free school meals for all. Money for farmers, money for free internet, money for seniors, money for workers, money for independent contractors, money for seniors, dental, vision, hearing, things like that. So IRS Treasury, which had sent out the $1,400 third stimulus check, would never know anything about your teeth or your eyes. So they can't send out that money. This money would be put in committees or divisions of the U.S. government that would say, hey, I have the money, come and get it from me. And that is what we saw in that graphic early in this video when we talked about recon procedural and substantive. Committees are given that portion of the $3.5 trillion for you to reach out and get that money. These are all stimulus checks. These are massive payouts of money. And if you got 30, 40, 50,000 under third stimulus. Imagine how you're going to do under fourth stimulus. How the committee spends the money is the big issue. You're going to reach out to those committees to get those sums of money. All right, so that is the application-based stimulus. You've been doing this since day one. You've been doing this from EIDL or PPP or PUA, PBT, SNAP. You've been picking up the phone and saying, give me money all along. So this is nothing new for you. But let's now go to the stimulus checks. The stimulus checks. Now let's understand how the stimulus check situation has evolved. There is certainly, number one, room to put stimulus checks in a $3.5 trillion stimulus recon package. It's huge. But who would ultimately be one of the number one guys to determine this situation, or gals? It would be the chairman of the committee that oversees the bill. What is this bill called? The recon, the actual real name, complete name, is the Reconciliation Budget Bill. What is the committee that oversees the budget bill, recon budget bill? The Budget Committee. Sort of obvious, isn't it? Yeah, sort of obvious. And who's the chairman of the Budget Committee? The chairman of the Budget Committee. And what's his name? Bernie Sanders. Did not know that. Yeah, you did not know that. The chairman, the Senate chairman of the Budget Committee that oversees the recon budget bill is Bernie Sanders. A little important. Yeah, just a little bit important. And prior budget chairman, the way they did things was they just sort of sat in their office and determined how to spend money. And they signed it and printed it out and it was done. They didn't really ask you about it. Ironically, maybe because Purple Power didn't exist then. But they didn't ask you about it. So what did Bernie Sanders say last weekend? He talked about this very subject matter. He's a prior budget chairman, just sort of did their own thing in the universe of D.C., but I like to get out amongst the people. What do you think that means? He means he wants to hear from you. He wants your insight, your opinion of the situation. Now, when you hear that, you would say, well, I got to call Bernie Sanders. Absolutely. That's what I said all weekend long, last weekend. I said, pick up the phone, call Bernie Sanders. Lynn Glenn called Bernie Sanders. And Brother Joshua called Bernie Sanders. I don't know how many other viewers, this channel has millions of viewers a day. I don't know how many people really picked up the phone, but I did sort of see enough people to say, when. You're not helping anyone when saying that. I've seen Counter Colleen and I've seen Counter Cod say what they say. Do you know it's September? Do you know it's September? That's what she says. Do you know it's September? But Counter Colleen, Bernie Sanders is saying he wants to hear from you. Yeah, tell him it's September. And then there's Counter Cod. What does he say? He says, whatever happened to July? Whatever happened to July? Bernie Sanders was around in July. as were you, as was I. But does he know whatever happened in July? That doesn't help anyone either. Neither of these statements really help anything because Bernie Sanders is saying, I need your input on it. And, Freedom Frida, she doesn't help anyone except herself, because what does she say? She says Bernie Sanders is not even in town. He's off in the South Pacific. He's not even voting. He's not doing anything. Glenn Beck told me that. That's what Freedom Frida says. So what I said on camera last weekend was call Bernie Sanders up. Push Purple Power. And a few people did. But Brother Joshua made the phone call. And he called Bernie Sanders' staffer in the D.C. office, respectful and professional and kind, Brother Joshua, former volunteer for the community page, and said, I'd like to talk to you about those monthly stimulus checks. Staffer said, well, Bernie Sanders is already proposing that. Shocker? No, not a shocker for us. Who's this a shocker for? Broadcast media. Broadcast media, those lazy, insert word, people at broadcast media never care to pick up the phone and call a senator, or at least the number one senator on the number one subject, call up Bernie Sanders. You think the broadcast channels that have 500 affiliate stations in every city across the country, perhaps your city as well, do you think they had the common sense to pick up the phone and call up and ask Bernie Sanders, what are you doing for stimulus checks? No. They didn't pick up the phone. What did they do? They ran whether Courtney has changed her hair color to Kim's hair color. I mean, really? Can you pick up the phone and do some journalistic value to what you're doing? No, they didn't do it. And so they ran sometimes stories that said, I haven't heard anything. Well, you haven't heard anything because you haven't asked. It's sort of like that spouse that says, I don't know if my spouse is doing that, but I haven't asked. I think you should ask. So that's what the broadcast media was doing. They weren't asking. They just, I'm not going to ask, but because I haven't asked, I assume it's just not there. Well, Brother Joshua called up and asked, and then got the answer, yeah. Senator Sanders is devising a monthly stimulus check. There you go. So what are the provisions? Number one, a monthly amount somewhere in the range of $1,000 to $1,400. Yes. And it's monthly. Yes. And it's several months. Yes. How many months? 3 to 6 months. Yes. Incredible, great news. But there was a catch. The staffer said Bernie Sanders needs your support to make sure that the American people really want this. Purple Power, this is what we do. This is what Purple is always about. This is what I launched Purple Power about. What was Purple Power? Where did Purple Power come from? It came from me wearing purple shirts outside during 2020. People were referring to me as Mr. Purple. And I said back, but you have the power. You have the purple power. That's what I said on air. I said, you have the purple power. You can push and get the money. And I was referring to EIDL and PPP and PUA. I said, you can get this money. And then as we started to see that second stimulus checks were being delayed, the HEROES Act was not moving, it was getting stalled, I said, Purple Power, you need to push. And that's what became Purple Power, push, push, push. And we've done this all along. This is what we do as Purple Power. We push. The antithesis of Purple Power, I don't even know what you would call it. Green stalling? What's the reverse of Purple Power? Green stalling is sitting back and saying, never gonna happen. Tucker Carlson told me it's not going to happen. My neighbor says she has a sister that's in the state assembly in Nebraska, or is a councilman of my local town. She says it's not going to happen. Great. Thank you for your contribution to this subject matter. That doesn't help anything. Purple Power is about pushing. And he said he needs your support. So what I want to do for the first time ever on air, I want to go into the live chat right now. I want to see, I'm in the live chat right now, I want to see if you have contacted any elected official about pushing for a stimulus check. Put their name in the live chat right now. There's currently 1,000 people in the live chat. Who of those 1,000 people have contacted their elected official? Put the name of the elected official in the live chat right now, and I'll check back in a second. I want to see who's contacted the elected official, because this is really what's important. I emailed Joe. Oh, we're going on a first name basis. The president. Okay, there's an E at the end. It was J.O. I was like, oh, is that Joanne? I don't know. Who's Joe? Is she one of the Real Housewives? Uh, so if you contacted elected official, I want to see in the live chat, because there's 1,000 people in the live chat. I want to see how many people are, and also, you know why? Because I want other people to see it. I want other people to see who is pushing, who's not pushing. Because for every person like a Freedom Frida who says, when, you also want to see that there's someone who's actually pushing and asking for this money. Now let's go over something that is very Freedom Frida-ish. You know, Freedom with her fake facts. One of the fake facts that I'm seeing on Twitter is some viewers are saying, well, I want the House bill of $2,000 a month for a year, and I'm rejecting Bernie Sanders. Let's go over that, because there's two problems with that sentence. And I'm seeing a few people say this. Number one, there was no House bill of $2,000 a month. The House bill was $2,000 the first month and $1,000 thereafter. Now, don't tell me you didn't hear me say that, because I've only covered this House bill for what? A few months. Just a few months, just a few recordings. And I even show the graphic every single time I'm on air. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. There was never a $2,000 a month stimulus check bill, which would be $24,000 a person stimulus check, which for four people would be a family of four would be almost $100,000 stimulus check. There was never I can't say it with a straight face. There was never $100,000 stimulus package bill for family of four. It just never was there. It was $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Now, next thing is that there's nothing wrong with advocacy. You can absolutely advocate anything you want. You can advocate a $20,000 stimulus check a month, a bill if you want. But don't say there was a House bill, because that doesn't lend credence to the entire push of the purple power if you're just misstating a thing that never was there. There was never a House bill of $2,000 a month. Number two, the very, very rare person who says, I reject Bernie because that's not a lot of money. Understand what that means. Number one, this is the guy that's doing the budget bill on the budget committee where he's the budget chairman. You want to just push for the number you want. You don't want to reject what he's doing, because that makes absolutely no sense, because then who has your back? Glenn Beck? Glenn Beck has your back? I mean, Tucker Carlson, who has your back? I mean, who has your back? Because no one is doing what is doing $24,000 annual stimulus checks. Now let's then finally do the calculation. How different is Bernie's proposal versus the House bill? The House bill, I always say, the minimum would be $13,000 if it was just 1 year, not pandemic plus 1 year. $13,000. So how much is 6 times $1,400? It's $8,000, $9,000. Not that big a difference. $8,000, $9,000 versus 1 year at $13,000. And we've done that analysis on this channel a lot, where I asked you, do you prefer to get a lot more money faster than a slow amount over a very long period of time? So remember, $13,000 is over 1 year. This is over potentially 6 months. So very, 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 very comparable numbers. So let's always keep that in track. So let me go back in the chat and see who contacted who. So there's Alice contacted Chuck Schumer. Great. Haley called twice. Donna called Bernie. Brenda contacted Bernie, Elizabeth, and AOC. Great, Brenda. I love that. There is Haley contacted Sanders. Great. Let me go up higher in the chat. I talked to somewhere in Sanders' office, Alice. Great job, Alice. There's Mary, tweeted both. And then Kristen Gillibrand. Oh, beautiful. Christy contacted. I contacted Sanders, says Brandon, another Brandon. Then Diane contacted Bernie. I sent a message to him today. Great job. So that's 800 people in a chat, and nearly all of them, or a lot of them that I could read very quickly, said they contact. You're the inspiration. Lead by example. And I think I may start doing this again, because I want to sort of lead by example. You see how with the rent, where I would put up the graphic, and the more I put up the graphic, more people would get the rent, the utilities, the food, or internet. People realize, wait a second, people are getting these sums of money. I should get these sums of money. I think this push now helps inspire other people to pick up the phone and call as well. Coming up next is Afternoons Lalate. I'm running late. I did not realize I'm at 44 minutes. Coming up next is Afternoons Lalate at 1 o'clock. So stay on this video. I'll automatically take you there. Then we're at Afternoons Lalate at 3 o'clock. Counter me in. And subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful day. And stay with me all weekend long, because I will be with you all weekend long. And I'll try to do some live feeds, because you've asked for some live feeds on the beach. And stay with LA for more.